On today's JMO with Josh and Joe, we say farewell to the Pac-12.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye to the Pac-12. Talk a little college football, a little realignment. We tell you where we think everything's going to go, when everything's going to possibly plateau.
The process.
The process, if there's an end to the process, if there's an end to realignment at all. We'll go over that. Then we go right into our OTDISH on this date in sports history. Talk a little bit of NFL. It seems like tensions are getting high in different places. The media is struggling to find things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Sherman, we give you our thoughts on Richard Sherman replacing Shannon Sharp on Undisputed. Then we roll into some Major League Baseball. Some interesting fights going on in Major League Baseball, people being dramatic, just trying to bring attention and awareness to the sport of baseball, because I know people have been on basically just airplane mode as far as the MLB season has been going.
Making it exciting.
Then we talk a little boxing, a little Nate Diaz and versus Jake Paul. And we end off with the U.S. women's national team, the soccer team. Bit of a disappointment, huh, Joe?
A little disappointed.
Just a little bit. Then we go into that.
All right. Let's rock and roll.
Welcome to JMO with Josh and Joe. It is Wednesday, August 9th. And Joe, bye-bye Pac-12.
Should we send them off the proper way?
The good old-fashioned American way?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. You ready?
Yep.
A one, two, three, four.
So
Bye-bye to the Pac-12, goodbye. Drove the Trojans and the Bruins making the Big Ten rise. And the rest of them teams were left out hanging to dry, singing this will be the Pac-12's demise. Good deal. Good deal. So fuck the Pac-12. They are dead.
Yep.
They are dead, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, I've had a special hate in my heart. Very big disdain for the Pac-12 since I was a wee little lad.
A wee little lad.
Wee
okay,
little
so
lad,
that's
dude.
It's like
it's
grounded.
ingrained in
Yes.
my core.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll never forget, and I never forgive them for at least for USC. USC. USC keeps trying to steal the 2003 national championship. Okay, when we LSU held up the BCS national championship trophy.
Yep.
That was whoever lifted the gold, the diamond football or whatever, the crystal football. That was the winner.
They tried to pull in Alabama.
They did.
You know how Alabama just claims a bunch of those national championships that they didn't even win the national championship game?
Notre Dame does the same thing.
Yeah.
Notre Dame ain't got 20-something national championships. Please, nobody cared about football in 1936, okay? Nobody cares about your fucking Nuke Rockney bastard-ass fucking national championship.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's okay. I can see the hatred. So you had a hatred for the entire conference, not just for the USC team.
Well, the USC team kind of started it, and then, they just thought they were hot shit the whole time, which, I mean, they're California. They're L.A. They kind of are hot shit. But I didn't like it.
Oregon with the flashy uniforms.
Flashy shit. Washington with the fucking offense. Or was that Washington State?
Well, Washington State was with Mike Leach.
But I think
R.I.P.
R.I.P. baby. Oh, legend. I didn't like the Pac-12. Never liked the Pac-12. I'm kind of glad to see it just get absolutely nuked.
It really did.
I really don't feel bad for Stanford, Oregon State, Washington State, and Cal. I don't give a shit what they're gonna do. They'll find something. They'll probably go to the ACC. Some of them will go to the ACC, which honestly, that's looking like it's going to fall apart, too.
Yeah, well, that's what they're actually doing right now, is trying to scramble. So apparently word is that came out today was Stanford and Cal are eyeing the ACC.
I think this is the ACC's last-ditch effort to kind of save itself, because when your two most powerful teams in the last 25 years are wanting out, it's bad.
Yep.
Florida State, they have to keep Florida State and Clemson in. Like that, those are that's like the 1-2 punch. Mm-hmm. The only other team I can think of is maybe Miami. Like they have to keep Florida State and Clemson in it.
Yep.
They have to be able to find. They got to find a way to get them money. They're locked into this contract with God, who's it with? I can't remember who they're locked in a contract with, but it's till 2036. Whoops. Yeah, till 2036, and they're trying to get out of that. Florida State wants out because they're not making enough money. They're not making as much money as they could. They're having a very difficult time competing in recruiting against the SEC, which is right there. That's their neighbor, literally their neighbor.
Yeah.
And it makes sense for Florida State to want out. Clemson's the only one that has a recruiting gold mine, and that's because Dabo Swinney's the fucking man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. It's kind of surprising that Pac-12 and the ACC really didn't try to make moves when the Big Ten and the SEC were doing that.
Even back when the SEC acquired Missouri and Texas A&M, like that, even back then, like they should have seen this coming. Like if these power conferences are getting bigger and bigger, maybe we should probably do something the same instead of doing the same fucking thing over and over, like expecting a different result.
You know what? I guess maybe the only hope that they have right now is maybe a Big 12 ACC merger, something like that.
I feel like the Big 12 has enough people though. Like they're doing. I mean, okay, let's actually no. I'll get to that in a little bit. But okay. I think the Big 12 has done enough. Like, or they're doing a decent bit actually.
They're scrapping and clawing.
They are, but like, and I think it's going to be enough. I think they're going to be it's going to be the new Power 3, but I think they're going to be one of them.
Yeah.
Also, what I was going to say is, I think it's about time to rename some of these conferences with numbers in them.
Yeah, they're getting a little dated.
Like, yeah, I mean, even like I'm never going to want to rename the SEC, but like,
even that's getting a little.
It's
bit
getting a little out of hand. Yeah. Yeah. Oklahoma and Texas, like those aren't southeastern schools. The Atlantic Coast Conference, that's not true anymore. The Big Ten, there's way more than 10 teams.
Way more.
And the Big 12, there hasn't been 12 teams in the Big 12 in fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
So like,
I think they just now are getting themselves back to a 12-team team.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. It was like the Big 12 had 10 teams and then Big 10 had 12 teams. It was very confusing there for a while.
Yeah. So the college football is definitely still going through this. They're calling it the realignment, and I like it. I mean, it's a transition phase, and we're going through a transition phase. They're doing realignment. My biggest question now is, when is realignment going to stop? What's the goal here? Do we have an end game with realignment? Because just like, I don't know why this came to just popped in my head, but the process with the Philadelphia 76ers. Like, yeah, sure, we got the process, but what's the end goal with the process here? Like, I'm not seeing any end goal with the process here in Philadelphia. Like, is this just going to be a constant realignment? Are we just going to be constantly realigning, just like the fucking stars or something?
Yeah, I guess you can kind of relate it to like a computer. Like when a computer's like processing, you're like, at first it's like, okay, that it's doing what it needs to do. But then like if it stays in processing mode, then there's like something wrong. It's just like frozen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like this, I don't know. I kind of just envision it like basically like getting these big super conferences that just totally say fuck the NCAA, and so the NCAA dissolves itself, and then basically there's a big merger between the Big Ten and the SEC, and then they become the new NCAA.
Well, I was about to say these smaller schools need the NCAA. They're gonna need the NC2A. That's why I don't think the NC2A will completely die out. It won't be as lucrative once if the power conferences leave. I think the coolest situation would be to have 4 power conferences. That way, it's an even number. You can keep them like. As far as brackets are concerned, you can have 4 different quadrants. You know what I'm saying? And I think that would be really cool. I think you can have people come from different quadrants. There's a bunch of things you can do with it. I like it. I think it's a you know how the NFL has the NFC and the AFC?
Yep.
I think college football should have Big 12, Pac-12, or Big 12, Big Ten, SEC, and one other conference. Probably, like, we'll just say, for lack of better words, the ACC.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it would be fun. I think that they could go places with that. But yeah, when is realignment going to be done? What's the end game? What does the big picture look like?
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people have thought it's been done for quite some time. You know,
Yeah.
especially when they had the move to 14 teams, because it made sense.
The SEC?
The SEC, yeah, because it made sense when the ACC and the Pac-12 moved to 12 teams. Those made sense because they could have a conference championship game, and then basically the SEC decided they were like, oh well, we can just poach some teams off the off the Big 12, and then the Big 10 was like, okay, if you're going to do that, we're going to do this. And then out of nowhere, Oklahoma and Texas is just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm out of here.
Yeah. That was a huge surprise. Greg Sankey just basically just waved his giant dick around and was like, hey, you either come with us or you're going to get fucked.
Come here. Just started waving with his dick.
I don't know what he did, but yeah, Texas, Oklahoma, great additions. It's wild. I think I don't know. I'm pretty excited to see what becomes of it. Obviously, a lot of the things that made college football great, like the traditions, the rivalries, those are going to somewhat be dissolved. And I just don't see those the traditions starting up again. I think we're just in like such an ADHD like culture, like a world where like it's dominated by money that everything's going to be constantly changing.
Yep.
It's going to be hard to establish new traditions, which sucks because a lot of college football was founded, like I said, on traditions.
Yeah.
And like I loved it. I loved the old rivalries, like the Red River rivalry. Like that was a good one. I'm sure they're going to keep it, but like they're not going to play each other every single year.
Yeah.
No,
I think you'll see like the deep-rooted rivalries, like the big games, obviously just are too big to fail. They're too big to lose. Your Alabama, your Auburns, your Ohio States, your Michigans. You're not going to lose those.
Right.
No matter what happens with the realignment.
I hope they keep Texas, Oklahoma. That would be a good one. But like, yeah, like I don't know, like even a USC Notre Dame. Like that was a pretty big rivalry. Speaking of which, Notre Dame's kind of the winner in all of this, if I'm being honest.
Really?
With that contract, because yeah, they're still making a shit ton of money with that contract with NBC. Like they're just kind of like, I'm out of this. They don't have anything to worry about.
Got their own TV deal.
Yeah. So like they kind of saw it coming before. They probably didn't, but they can say they saw it coming before it actually came. Like they're like, yeah. Everybody, it's going to get to a point where everything's going to be dictated by TV money, and we're going to get ahead of the game.
So they just watched it go around into like a full circle,
right?
And everything,
right? Yeah, and they're gonna say they saw it coming. That's what they were planning for, but they got lucky.
Technically, in the shape of a circle, it came from behind, so they didn't see it coming.
No, they didn't see it coming. You're right. That's how shapes work.
Yep.
Let's see. Do you have anything else for college football?
Do we talk about the Big 12, how they pulled one out of their ass?
What?
Because the Big 12 was left for dead.
They kind of were, yeah.
They were left for dead.
They made something out of very little. Yeah. Very little. It did look like they were going to kind of just dissolve almost.
Yeah. They kind of remind me of the Dumb and Dumber quote, like totally redeemed themselves type of thing.
Yeah, because they were put in a pretty sticky situation, especially when Texas and Oklahoma said they were going to leave.
Yeah,
they were the big money. They were the big money markets. So, kudos to Big 12 for putting it back together.
Yeah, I mean, I guess honestly I felt like that was kind of the way that the Pac-12 needed to do it. It's like basically you're gonna have some big markets. If you have big market teams leave, or just like any teams leave in general, you got to fill those places up. Because then at least it gives confidence to the other teams that it's like, oh, hey, look, we're still fortified. We're still, we're still a 12-man league or 12-team league. That helps out as far as the confidence level. But if a USC and a UCLA leave and you don't actually replace them with anybody, you don't make active moves, what are the other teams going to be thinking? They're going to be like, oh, well, I wanted the greener pastures elsewhere as well.
They're not going to be they're not gonna, they had an Apple TV deal, I guess. That was it, but obviously it wasn't enough to keep people around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty pumped.
So big W for the Big 12.
Big Dub, Big 12.
Time to rename the conferences here. Let's rename the I hope we keep SEC, but yeah, time to rename conferences. Anything else?
That's about it.
All right, let's get to OT-DISH. On this date in sports history, we have in 1948.
In 1948, the U.S. crew blitzes the field to win the rowing 8th gold medal at the London Olympics. Beats silver medalist Great Britain by 10.2 seconds. There's a couple things I want to unpack here. First of all, we beat fucking Great Britain. Fuck the Brits.
Well, that's normal.
Annihilated them. 10.2 seconds in a crew. I don't even know what that would be. A crew race?
A crew race.
So yeah.
Crew row.
Fuck the Brits. I don't know what half of these words mean, but what I do know is we should start using blitz for more than what we use it for. In America, we use blitz in football.
Defensive packages.
Yes. I think we need to use it more often. Like as far as like make it synonymous with like dominating. You know what I'm saying? Like they like some people say kicked their ass. Instead of that, say they blitzed them.
Okay. Yeah. The other one that is kind of related to this, OT-DISH is we usually call it storming the field, but blitz the field whenever after big victories.
Yep, blitz the field. That's a good one.
Make the fans feel like that they're actual football players.
Yeah, dude. Just have some of them just run and tackle random pedestrians.
Yeah, they just go back to their house and they like tell their stories. Like, dude, I just blitzed the field.
Yeah, dude. That would be awesome.
That's way more intense.
Way cooler sounding. And then my last thing on this one is not only did we beat the Brits, but we beat them in London.
Okay.
So,
and beat them at their home.
So not only can we win on American turf, we can win in London. So y'all can suck it, shove a pound up your ass.
I don't know the exact tally right now, but I feel like it's maybe like 2,000-0.
Oh, it's very lopsided.
Okay.
Very lopsided, dude. Britain's been taking L's since 1772.
Can't really call it a rivalry either.
No,
not with that
really
type of
not.
record.
It's really not. You can't. Because a rivalry, it means that, like, the other team has won some.
Yeah, I feel like that was a quote from a player just recently, too.
Yeah.
It's like you can't call it a rivalry if they don't win.
If they don't win, exactly. So they just get shit pumped.
Yep.
Every time. They just get their shit pumped. Although, in London, they probably like it.
What's yours?
So, in my first one, a little bit of a homie one. Yep. 1971. The first NFL game in the Louisiana Superdome happens. It was Saints have been having terrible luck whenever it comes to first anything. Like
notorious.
Yeah, for the first preseason game, they lost. First NFL game in the Superdome, lost to Houston 13-7.
Yeah.
But interesting, cool fact, at the time, in 1971, this was the largest fixed dome structure in the world. So that's where that name Superdome came from.
Wow.
That's very fitting.
That's pretty cool. I mean, we did have the longest bridge across a body of water for a while too, in the Causeway, going across Lake Pontchartrain.
Louisiana was going big.
And then we just kind of got drunk and stopped.
Yeah, we got drunk. But hey, we did sober up and we made some air-conditioned helmets. That actually is pretty revolutionary.
Well, I mean, even a drunk person can walk outside and feel it's hot. So
yes.
We established our drive-through daiquiris, but we realized the importance for AC.
Yeah. So once we sober up, I mean, we could do some big things.
Yeah, doing big things. Yeah, we just need to take a break for a year from drinking and just kind of like revamp Louisiana for a little bit. We could probably clean up New Orleans, clean up Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Do some big things for Louisiana. It would benefit us well if we quit drinking as a state, quit drinking for a year.
Yeah, we're not saying forever. We don't have to give it up. Don't have to give it up. Just take a break for a second.
Just maybe have one glass of. You know what? We can't even have a glass of wine.
I don't think that was.
No, we gotta just cut it out completely cold turkey for a year.
For a period of time.
Yep. Then as a state, we'll just rebuild it. Then we'll be good.
And then we'll go back to partying.
Yeah, then we'll go back to partying, of course, because we can't just not party. Let's see. In 2002, San Francisco Giants outfielder Barry Bonds hits his 600th career home run. This one I just wanted to throw in there because it's a travesty that he is not in the fucking Hall of Fame. It's just not. It says all I need to know about the Baseball Hall of Fame. It really does. Pete Rose isn't in. Roger Clemens isn't in. Like these are some of the greatest baseball players to ever play the game. I don't care that Barry Bonds did steroids. Who fucking cares? He yanked 700 plus home runs. Like you have to be good at baseball to do that. I understand that. You have to be good at baseball to hit a home run. Like just because you take steroids doesn't make you a better baseball player. It just makes you just have longevity. You can come up to the plate 162 times a year and fucking just rope shit. That doesn't mean he's still a great fucking baseball player. I don't know.
Yeah, it sucks that his reputation has to be tainted like that. But he was
best hitter. I think he's the best hitter of all time.
Yeah. So
what you got?
You got a good point. So in 1977, I found this as an odd stat or an odd history. The NHL refuses the merger of 6 WHA clubs.
I don't know what that means.
So I'm assuming, from what my understanding is that the WHA, what was it, World Hockey Association or something like that? Yeah, World Hockey Association.
The World
Hockey Association.
In the whole world. Okay.
So yeah, but I don't know. Like maybe I'm assuming maybe that was like a lot of Canada teams or something like that. But why I felt like that was odd that the NHL refused to merger. Typically, like conferences and such,
they want that.
So I don't know. I didn't read into the story too much. I did pull it up here, at least a New York Times story about it. But why would we refuse a merger? I feel like that always makes the conference or the league that much better. I mean, the AFC and the NFC did it, or I think it was the NFL and AFC, something like that. And then the merger with baseball as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was 1977, 1978 season. Maybe. Shit. What was going on in 1977?
So the 6 teams that were hoping to join was the Cincinnati Stingers, the New England Whalers, Houston Aeros, Quebec Nordics, Winnipeg Jets, and Edmonton Oilers.
Dude, all of those fucking teams have awesome names.
Yeah, they have some dope names.
Yeah, that's a miss by the NHL.
So, yeah, I'm not sure, but apparently it was pretty secretive with the governors of the NHL board, and
I guarantee you somebody pissed somebody else off.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Politics.
I feel like half the time these deals don't go through is because one person pissed the other person off. You're just not a good salesman.
Yeah.
That's why I got so much respect for Jerry Jones, man. Like he's one of the richest people in the world, but there's a reason he is that way. He's very, very good at what he does. He'll come in and he'll sweet talk you. He'll sell you something you already own. Like he's just that good. He's very, very good at what he does.
As proof, he has the highest valued franchise at $9.2 billion for the Dallas Cowboys right now.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's wild. All right. Anything else on OTDISH?
That's it. That was my last one.
Cool. All right, let's get to the NFL. Couple of things, not too much. How do you feel about joint practices? The NFL's been doing joint practices.
They've been doing it for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I think it's just basically it's a fight waiting to happen. It's not if a fight breaks out, it's like when the fight breaks out.
We haven't seen as many this year, but typically in prior years to this one, we saw like a fight like every single time.
Right, yeah, and I think they keep it regulated. I think there's a lot harsher penalties now if you do get in a fight. I just don't get it. I don't know why if you're one team, you would want to practice against another team. You're going to see them in the games.
And it's not like you can really practice everything. You don't want
Right.
to show everything.
You're literally doing just basic things.
Just
That's what you have.
Vanilla play calling.
Exactly. Nice. That's what the scout team's for. I don't get it. It's like it doesn't make any sense. I don't want to fucking practice with somebody else.
Let's see. They had a story or a news headline.
Apparently, Eric Bieniemy's a little intense in practice.
A little intense.
Which, it's fucking football. Isn't that what you want? It's literally you are beating the Christ out of each other. You need intensity.
So for context, this was coming from the players that were complaining that Eric Bieniemy was too intense.
Allegedly, okay? Because this is... Listen. I think a lot of the times these things are taken out of context. The media needs clicks, especially with like everybody you can feel it in the air. Everybody's excited for football, so they need something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And training camp and in these practices, just there's nothing there. Like
Yeah.
it's just you're watching a team practice.
Yeah.
So they need something, and I think it's a lot of shit taken out of context. It's a lot of media just looking for clicks.
Yeah.
It's all clickbait.
You could probably sense that as well. I mean, as far as it being taken out of context. But
Too intense? What are you talking about?
I don't have like I don't not believe this as far as him being intense, because he does come from the Andy Reid coaching tree, and Andy Reid's been known to have one of the hardest training camps out of any of the NFL teams.
And he has some of the best teams of all time.
Exactly.
Who else? You know who else? Who else was known for being intense in training camp?
Who's that?
You told me earlier, Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick. Yep.
Yeah.
I was just
One
trying
of
to
the
see
greatest coach, if not the greatest.
trying
coach
to see
of
if
all
you
time.
remember. There was one more that was known. He's retired now though.
Yeah, he was shit.
Just won a Super Bowl not too long ago.
Yeah.
Although he did poach a
Bruce
quarterback.
Bruce Arians. Yeah.
Bruce Arians. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so what are you talking about? Intensity is what makes the fucking train that is the NFL teams go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get it. It's just, it is clickbait, and obviously we bought into it because we're talking about it now, which angers me even more. But I love it's actually kind of funny just to see what people are going to use as clickbait nowadays while they have no football.
Well, we're going to use it as clickbait now.
Yeah.
We're in turn going to,
Well, not anymore because we have football on this weekend.
Yeah.
We got the fucking week one of the preseason. I don't give a shit. It's preseason. I say this every single year. There's football on your TV.
There's football all weekend long.
All weekend long. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As a matter of fact, there's only 2 games on Sunday.
This is like the schedule that we dream about.
Yes.
Except for not on Saturday, because I like my college football on Saturday.
I will say that, yes.
And if you're in Texas, you probably like Friday.
For your high school.
High school, yeah.
So, obviously, the schedule makes sense, but, if you're just an NFL watcher, this is your dream scenario.
Yep. Enjoy this.
Yes.
Let's see. We have one thing I wanted to talk about real quickly was
So Shannon Sharp left undisputed because Skip Bayless is a fucking asshole. So now they have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
Richard Sherman is joining undisputed to argue with Skip Bayless.
Great pick.
Awesome pick.
Yes.
He's going to piss Skip Bayless off to no end. I think Skip might be the next one to quit. I think Skip Bayless will quit his own show because of Richard Sherman. I think this is what I likened it to. You know how JJ Redick and when JJ Redick and Steve Smith go back and forth with each other, JJ Redick has great points.
Yeah.
JJ Redick is actually very smart and is really good at his job. Stephen A is just wild and obnoxious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, with his takes. So like and he pisses Stephen A off because he's what he says, JJ Redick says, is making sense. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be the way Richard Sherman is with Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is wild and outlandish. Richard Sherman's going to be making valid points.
Smart guy.
He's a very smart guy.
Went to Stanford.
Yeah.
Stanford had very good grades there.
Yeah. Was his own agent too.
Yep. I envision that he will start off kind of like how he was with the Prime set, Amazon Prime, on their show. I feel like it will morph into a little bit of kind of his post conference whenever he was, remember the Seattle and 49ers game?
The interview afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he
I hope he
just went after Crabtree.
Yeah, I hope we see that. I think that Richard Sherman's been retired, but I hope that one comes out of retirement.
I think Skip Bayless will pull it out of him.
See, I don't think so. I think Richard Sherman's gonna pull out a side of Skip Bayless that we've never seen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm Team Richard. I'm gonna get out in front of this. I'm Team Richard Sherman. In this.
I'll take it. I'll be on that team too. I'll side with you on that.
Yeah, I like Richard Sherman. Let's see. I guess the last thing I have is Saints work out Kareem Hunt. Dude, I was looking at this. I think basically what the Saints are doing is they're just looking at they're making the 2017 draft their running back catalog.
Okay.
They're just if you got drafted in 2000, if you're a running back and got drafted in 2017, the Saints want you.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Kareem Hunt.
That's a way to good spot on that one.
They just all 2017. That's the running back year for the Saints apparently.
So they just basically have went back in time and think that they went back in time to 2017.
Yeah. So if we got Kareem Hunt and this was 2018, we would have the best backfield of all time.
So did Mickey Loomis get his head knocked in or something like that?
I think he got hit in the head really hard and now thinks it's 2017, 2018.
Yeah. Okay.
He went back in time like that Always Sunny episode where Frank goes back to 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's fantastic. Great episode. So yeah, we'll see what we do with that. Did we sign Anthony Barr or did we not? Because I'm getting mixed. I'm getting mixed reports.
Well, it's confusing. Let's put it that way.
I think ESPN's saying one thing, but
apparently he's going to visit the Giants here soon. But
yeah.
he's on the Saints roster according to the ESPN website. So
right,
yeah.
and then a lot of other websites and Twitter, including Twitter, he's going to visit with the Giants. Like Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, none of those people reported on this, and this is something that they would report on. They've reported on way less.
Okay.
So
we'll see what happens with that.
Joe, one thing I wanted to do for the listeners next week, I say we watch Hard Knocks, the 2 episodes of Hard Knocks, unless the Johnny Manziel doc just dropped. Let's recap both Hard Knocks and the Johnny Manziel documentary.
Yeah, we did hint at this earlier. I mean, I know we've talked about Hard Knocks last year. That was a big topic of ours, and then we did hint about the Johnny Manziel as well as the Swamp Kings.
Yep.
Doing recaps.
Yeah.
For those.
Yeah. We got it. I mean, we're definitely doing Swamp Kings.
So, but yeah. So I say so. Yeah, we'll have them to look forward to that. Since, I mean, yeah, we'll have some football to talk about, but it's still going to be preseason where we're going to see a bunch of people that we don't even know who's playing.
Yeah. Let's be real. I'm going to watch it because there's football on my TV and I can gamble on it. But it's preseason.
It's still preseason.
Yeah. So, do you got anything else in the NFL?
Well, Tampa Bay will start Baker Mayfield in Game 1 of the preseason. Kyle Trask in Game 2.
In Game 2. I like it. Fine. Let Baker fuck up and then have Trask come in. I think that's what every NFL franchise should do with a rookie quarterback. I'm a huge proponent of letting the rookies rest. I think they should rest at least a year, but that's never going to happen. Let them rest let them learn on a couple of games, and don't let him be the one that fucks up. Let him be the hero that cleans up the fuck up. Like you get that quarterback position so low that it doesn't matter what the rookie does. He can't fuck up worse than what the starter did. And then if let's just say for example Baker Mayfield he's a starter and he does well, good for you. You don't have to use Trask. Trask can learn. You know what I'm saying? So it's a win-win to not start the rookie.
I mean, simply put, it's the way how you write a good script.
Yeah.
You write a good script, and you like that way. That's a good storyline, and for the fans. And then, they cheer on the rookie, and then you don't, the rookie doesn't get his total confidence lost and just make his way out to the out of the league and becomes an electrician or a plumber
Plumber, yeah, or a car salesman.
or a car salesman.
I see, because if the Colts start Anthony Richardson, I have a bad feeling that he's going to get out there in the game situation, and it's going to be way faster than he's used to. I just don't see him. I don't see him being very good right off the gate. I mean, he wasn't a very good passer in college, and that was against college kid teams. I just can't. I don't see it. I don't see it.
It'll be interesting.
It will. Anything else in the NFL?
That was about the last thing I had.
Okay. This is a tiny little bit of MLB. Joe and I are not. I still don't understand I don't get the MLB. I'm
having a hard time keeping up with it. But we did have
There's
a fight.
too many games.
There's too many games.
Too many games.
We did have a fight.
And this is funny because it was...
Anderson versus Jose Ramirez.
I'm not going to lie, man.
Anderson versus Ramirez sounds more like a boxing match than Paul versus Diaz.
I was thinking more like UFC, but like same thing.
Yeah, well, it sounds more like a fight than Paul versus Diaz.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you see the names Anderson versus Ramirez, they're about to beat the Christ out of each other.
Yeah, there's something going on in the boxing ring or the octagon.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, so this for everybody who didn't see, I think his name's Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson for the White Sox got in a fight with Ramirez. Ramirez slid into second. I can't remember exactly what happened, but they went to go fight, and something was said, and the ump was trying to break it up. Something was said, and both of them squared up. And when both of them squared up, the umpire backed away and let them fight. It was awesome.
He must do NHL part-time as well.
He might be NHL part-time.
Because Tim Anderson definitely pulled like an NHL move and just dropped the gloves.
Yes,
like, he just threw the gloves on the ground and started putting hands up. And that ref, I mean, he just went instincts. So I guess he has some NHL experience.
And honestly, Tim Anderson wasn't a bad boxer. Jose Ramirez just got lucky. He got lucky. He had a wild punch that happened to connect and dropped Tim Anderson.
I was going to say, if I was just watching these guys just fight or train, I would have thought that Tim Anderson was going to be the better fighter.
Right,
Because,
me too.
I mean, Jose was just wailing.
Yeah, he was. And I don't know. It was cool. Tim Anderson it was a bad look for Tim Anderson because he got dropped.
Yeah.
He was knocked out.
He was knocked out. And honestly, if he just didn't get knocked out, he would have looked like the better fighter. Because he had the technique.
I guarantee you more people would watch baseball if instead of clearing the benches, the refs just let them duke it out.
Just let him duke it out, and then once the refs split it up, then it's over.
Yeah.
It's just like hockey. You just got to let him, just let it get it out.
It's a man thing. It's a men thing. Like sometimes we just gotta we gotta fight each other. Like you gotta figure out who's the alpha, who's the beta, and then you're good. Half the time when dudes fight, after the fight, I've gotten in a few fights, and half the time after the fights, I was cool. It's like, all right, respect.
Yeah, respect.
Like as a man, you just need to establish your dominance or figure out that you're not the dominant one. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think sports, especially baseball, would get more views if they would just let two dudes duke it out.
I mean, especially if the batter comes and storms the pitcher's mound,
Let them go.
just let him duke it out.
And then the benches can't get involved.
Yeah.
Just let them duke it out. Maybe have a spare pair of boxing gloves where you just chuck them out there instead of like hockey where you throw the gloves off.
Yeah.
You throw the gloves on.
Yeah.
And then you just let them beat the Christ out of each other for a good maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds max. Just let them go, and then resume the game. Guarantee you people will watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool.
Aaron Boone was kind of funny. I don't know if you saw this. It was a couple of games ago.
Yeah, I did watch this.
He argued with the ump and then mocked him. He showed it was a horrible strike call by the ump. It was not even close. And Aaron Boone drew a line on the outside of the plate and then mocked the way the umpire called a strikeout.
Yes.
It was hilarious. It was really funny. If you haven't seen it, go watch that video.
You probably at this point have seen a lot of memes that came out, his pose that he wrapped up with. Actually reminded me, he must have done the Soulja Boy dance quite a bit back in the day.
Probably.
Because that finish was quite a,
That's a
it was quite a U pose.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even notice that. That's pretty good. So yeah, that was funny. Go watch that.
Last thing I have on the MLB, Anthony Rizzo for the Yankees. Apparently, he's had a concussion since May.
Okay.
And they just didn't do anything about it. So from the beginning of the season till I think it was mid-May, May 20 something. Rizzo was on fire. He had like 17 home runs. He was batting like 3 something. And after that date in May against I think the White Sox or no, who was it? The Padres, against the Padres when he got hit. He had 1 home run and was batting like 196.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, hey, Rizzo has had a concussion this whole time. So, whoopsies. Also, it's a little sus because the Yankees didn't do anything until they were out of the running. It got to last week it came out, but it was to the point where they were losing. They were last in the AL East, and they were not making the playoffs. So like, oh, okay, let's do damage control and try and get Rizzo back to being a normal human being.
Okay.
So that's tough. It's a tough look for the Yankees. I mean, it doesn't look like anything's gonna happen because of it, but because I think the Yankees got out in front of it, but I think they might start tightening down on the concussion protocol.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay.
So,
I can imagine.
Plus,
After something like that.
Baseball players just aren't built to get hit in the head. It's not like they get hit in the head a lot.
No, you're not practicing it in practice.
No.
It's not like drills that you run.
Right.
If somebody does, they're probably seen as like crazy or
Yeah, a little psycho.
psycho.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. You got anything else on the MLB?
That's it.
All right.
Last thing I got is boxing. Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul. Jake Paul ends up he knocks. I think he just won by decision, right?
Yeah.
I didn't actually watch the fight.
I didn't watch the fight
I didn't
either.
have any interest. But apparently Nate Diaz was toying with him the whole time. People were saying Nate Diaz actually won the fight just because Jake Paul was taking it so seriously and Nate Diaz didn't give a fuck.
He did not give a fuck.
I just want to see Jake Paul get his ass kicked in the octagon.
Nate Diaz was kind of a representation of what we all are thinking about these Jake Paul and these Paul brothers fights. Is that it's just a joke, you know?
It really is. It's
Yeah.
just they're just joking.
He's just like, I'm just here to get paid.
And he did get paid. He got
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
So good for them. I didn't watch it. I wasn't gonna pay for it. Not interested. But
Give me a real fight.
yeah, that's what I want. I want to go back to the Mike Tyson days.
Yeah. I want Jake Paul to actually fight somebody that's like active.
Yeah.
Like he's in the prime of his career.
Yep. Well, anyways, you got anything else?
We do have the women's U.S. soccer team.
Oh yeah, we got to shout out the women's for sucking. They were not
completely blowing it.
Yeah, they were not good this year.
I mean, if you're trying to make an argument for equal pay, whiffing it on the penalty kick is not going to help your cause.
Yeah, she did. That looks bad. They weren't good. I don't know what was going on. I watched the first game against Vietnam, and when I saw that the Vietnamese game, we should have beat the Vietnamese probably 8-0.
Yeah.
We should it should have been like 8 or 9-0, and we only beat them 3-0 and then tied the next two. It was bad, not good. Yeah, just be better, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, look, if you're just trying to, especially if like any player for any professional sport is trying to make a case to get more money, that's not the way to do it.
No.
Especially when you're supposed to be the dominant team.
All right, here's the thing. I think it's good. Like a lot of people were really triggered about like the hate that the U.S. women's national team was getting. I think it's good. I think it's good for the sport because like we do, like the media and everybody does this for all the men's teams.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you like they're actually becoming treated like they're actually, I think, getting more and more equal to the men by all this hate. You bring someone all the way up to the top, the higher you climb, the harder the fall, type thing. Like, You're in the national spotlight now. You got to perform, or you're gonna get shit on.
I mean, think about LeBron James.
That's
He's got his haters.
Oh yeah, everybody's got the hate. Like this is what happens in men's sports. Like you got to like the people who get triggered over other people being mean to them online. It's just part of sports.
It's part of sports.
That's how we are as fans. If a fan is short for fanatic. We're going to say things that we don't mean because we have knee-jerk reactions based off of emotions, essentially.
Yes.
That's essentially how we are. And you can't get mad at that. As a matter of fact, like I said, I think it might even be good for the sport that it's getting so much shit.
There's no such thing as bad press.
That's true.
So, yeah. No, So you're saying essentially that this is true equality here.
True equality, yes. Now, the money side of it, that's a whole nother... the money side of it's a whole nother issue in and of itself because they get paid based off revenue, not anything. Yeah, that's another
boring talk.
That's another can of worms that we're not gonna go into. But
All right, you got anything else?
That's about it.
Alrighty, we will see y'all next week. Love y'all.
Later.